Hi, and welcome to Inside Baker. I am Allyssa King for KNBU TV. We are going to be joined with Allison Scahill and also Tracy Williams. All right, I am now joined with Allison Scahill, the Residence Life Coordinator. Allison, thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
You are a Baker alum, is that correct?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about your experience here at Baker?
Well, I came here in 2002, and I graduated this past May. I came in as a journalism major, and I worked here as a resident assistant, which is what got me into this job. Those are kind of the two big things I was involved in, the newspaper, the Baker Orange, and hall staff. So that's mostly what I did here.
So how did you get this position?
Well, working on hall staff for 3 years. I was an RA for 2 years, and then the hall director of Jolliffe, which was also a community advisor over in the apartments. And John Fraser was my boss for 2 of those years. And as I was getting ready to graduate and kind of decided that print journalism wasn't the career I wanted to go into, he offered me this position, which is usually a graduate assistant position, but gave me a little leeway he let me have this year to kind of decide if this is the career I wanted to go into, higher education administration. So that's how I got this job, and so it's really cool. I'm just using my residence life experience from undergrad and working in this position.
Okay, now what does your job entail?
Well, I oversee Gessner Hall, which is also where I live.
Okay.
I oversee Jolliffe Hall, the student apartments, and Irwin Hall. So I oversee them. I handle judicial incidents and sanctions, and I also work with Tracy Williams in our women's programs, and that's sort of a practicum experience. And I also work in student retention with John Fraser, trying to think of new ideas of how to retain students.
You say you live in Gessner.
I do.
Is that a good thing?
Yes, I really like living over there because it's really different than what I'm used to. I was in Irwin for 2 years, which is all female, and then I lived in Jolliffe, which when I lived there was predominantly female. So this gives me, with Gessner, we do have one wing of women, but again, it's predominantly male, freshmen. So it's a completely new experience. It's really broadening my work experience. So when I start graduate school, that will really help in my future career because I've had that experience. Sometimes it's a little frustrating, living with students as a graduate, but it's okay. I've got more ups than downs, so it's going well.
Okay. Are you in charge of the punishments throughout Gessner? Like if there's fines that need to be done, are you the person to go to?
Well, yes, we have student hall directors within each building. However, if the incident reports that I get are level 2 or above, I will handle the sanctions. So the student will come meet with me, and we discuss what their sanction will be, whether it's community service or a monetary fine or probation or something like that. And level 2 incidents mostly involve alcohol or something greater than just a trash or noise violation.
Is it hard to be the person who is in charge of punishing them along with being their friends as well?
Sometimes, because I'm closer to some students than I am others. So the ones I don't know very well usually know me as the disciplinarian, so it's not very hard. Or it can be really hard depending on how they react. Most people take responsibility for their actions, and it's not too bad, and we can get along really well after that. But some who don't think that they should be in trouble or have a little more attitude, sometimes that can be a little hard when you're trying to be an effective disciplinarian. And also try to be a person who they can come and talk to if they need someone to talk to. I like being that person, but I try to make sure that they know that this is my job, and I try to do what I have to do. And if they're violating university policy, then I have to do my job. And so most people know that, but every once in a while it can be harder than other times.
What about the new lottery system? Can you kind of explain what was the thinking behind that? What happens? What's going to happen? What is the goal?
Well, the lottery system is going to be very, very cool. It's a lot easier than we've done in the past. Mark Zeno, our former associate dean, and John Fraser came up with this idea. They've done it at past institutions, and it's a lot easier for students and for administration. For students, because it gives you the opportunity to not only pick your roommates, but decide where you want to live. And it's easier for administration because we get all of our paperwork done a lot sooner and a lot more efficiently. So what's going to happen is students will come on Thursday and with their roommates or their roommates' proxy cards, which I'll explain in just a second, and they'll draw a number, and when their number is called, they get to go into the little private dining room area and decide where they want to live and what room they want to live in. So it's really cool because for upperclassmen, you get a little more of a say in where you want to live. If you want to live in Jolliffe, for example, you have to find 2 roommates, and the 3 of you will go. And if you're a senior, you get to draw one of the lower numbers. So I think their numbers are 100 through 199. And so seniors, it goes by seniority. Seniors will get to draw first and pick first, and then juniors and sophomores. Obviously, freshmen will get placed in Irwin and Gessner like always, but in the incoming freshmen. So, but if you have a roommate who can't be there, you can go up to the Associate Dean's office, Shelby Coxon's office, and pick up a proxy card and say, these are who I'm going to be rooming with, and I can't be there that night, but this is me giving them permission and telling them that yes, I agreed to be their roommate, and they get to draw for them. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Now this is between Denius and Jolliffe, is that
Denius,
correct?
Jolliffe, and then we do have, I don't know how this will work, but we do have singles designated in Gessner and Irwin, and we always have at least a few upperclassmen living in those residence halls, but generally that won't be decided until after Denius and Jolliffe fill up. So this is predominantly for Denius and Jolliffe.
What about students who want to, that don't have a roommate in mind? What if, you know, just one person goes into this lottery system? What is the outcome that they'll be just with a random person?
Well, we've had a lot of people come up and ask that exact same question. What will happen is they can come either on Thursday night or come get a proxy card again if they can't come on Thursday night, and they can pick their room, and then they can be placed with a transfer student or with another student who's having the same issue but not being able to find a roommate. I have a feeling Thursday night a lot of people will find roommates on that night because we do have several who just maybe they don't know each other very well, or they didn't know they were looking for a roommate. So we'll probably have a lot of people come and find roommates on Thursday night and decide to room together at that time. Otherwise, a lot of people are open to taking in a transfer student as a roommate or being randomly placed, which is what we've done a lot of times in a lot of years previous to this.
Is the situations where if you have a problem with a roommate at semester, are those going to be the same, that you can still switch out?
Yes.
Or will that be another lottery system?
No, we have our initial rule of, the first 2 weeks of school you are required to stay with your roommate, and after that we can start moving rooms if a problem occurs. We like to, coming from the hall staff perspective, we really like to try to mediate the problem first with the RA, hall director, residence life coordinator, whomever, before we make those moves, because there's paperwork involved and just a lot of people having to talk to. Moving is a pain anyway, but we try to mediate the problem first, and if we just absolutely can't find a solution to the problem, which we realize will happen, then you're able to move, but it won't be another lottery system. We'll just find our openings and switch it around in that way. But we try to discourage that, which I think is this lottery system is another way of helping that out, because people get to choose where they live, maybe even who they're living next to, their suite mates, if they have a group of 4 in Denius, for example. Because they're choosing their room and their roommates, hopefully we won't have as many problems with roommate conflicts.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Allison, for coming today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We will now be taking a quick break, and then we will go to the field with Kelly Gibbons.